I started recording. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, I started recording, but I'm gonna take a dab.
Hellfire lives.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Los. That's waiting for Zay to look and have a comment.
Literally, Hellfire lives, Zay. Is he muted?
No, I'm not muted. It's just
Oh, okay.
what?
I was like, all I saw was mouth movement. I didn't hear nothing.
All right, but
Okay.
looking back to the loading screen, where we're gonna share our thoughts on the finale of Stranger Things.
The Stranger Things hype has come to an end. It's officially done. A chapter closed, boys.
So I would like to start off by saying, let me start off with the things I liked and the things that I found touching. The part where they put their D&D books away, I was like, oh, that's touching. I was like, that was a touching moment. Like that was that was like a bittersweet end. They're all grown up. They graduated. I was like, God damn, man, these. I was like, these.
I love how you go literally to the end of the episode.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the
I should tell you. I should tell you everything you need to know.
Like, yeah, I'm like, overall, okay, well, it's just to say, if I had to give it a rating before we even like a 6. Like there was good, it was okay, but there were so many. Like they did not answer any questions for me.
No, they didn't.
I actually have more questions. There's so many like things that you just left on the table that you just never went back to. Yeah, like
This is my only gripe, and I started laughing about it because I'm like, ain't no fucking way. When Mike was talking about at the end how like Levin could have lived all that and how Callie pulled off another magic trick, in my head I'm like, ain't no way that little girl lived that long after getting shot in the gut. She survived. You mean to tell me she survived the whole fight with Vecna? And then they come back and she's like, okay, here I go. No. That was my only gripe. For real. And
If I had,
the Vecna fight was booty.
it was a pushing contest.
That's it.
It was pushing, pocket sand, and that was it.
No,
Probably one of the lamest on-screen fights I have ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've seen Harry Potter without the visual effects. That shit looks mad lame until you start adding colors and shit. But like, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 5.5 to a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like one of my biggest gripes is the Mind Flayer fight. As someone who has played D&D, I've never gone up against a creature or a monster that massive. The biggest thing I probably ever fought was a dragon. But either way, we've still, like, even if no one died, people still got beat the hell up. People still got hurt and damaged. There was no battle damage on any of these characters.
Yeah. There was.
You're telling me a creature this size, and you're taking a shotgun to it.
I had a
Flamethrowers and Molotovs, I can understand, but you're telling me Nancy Rambo took a
Nancy
fucking.
Rambo was crazy.
That's what she looked like the whole time. The hair, like the bandana at one point, like.
She would definitely was like, yeah. Nancy Rambo.
And like my DM texted me while he was watching it because I had finished it before him, and he was like, "Wow, this is a total D&D fight," and I was like, "Yes, it is." And this is just me griping, but like, how did the other kids get up onto the cliffs? They were like, "Oh, on top of those cliffs," but in the wide shot, you just see nothing but fucking wall. You're telling me they became interdimensional space travelers and expert rock climbers all in the span of like 10 minutes? No, it's not happening. The blacks. Oh, go ahead.
I think from my perspective, first off, if I had to wait in between each season to watch all of this shit, I would have been pissed. I think that lowers the score. In my mind, I think it's a little bit of a better wrap up because it's all hot. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you can get mediocre food while it's still warm and it's okay, but it's not. You can't reheat that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I had to wait in between seasons for this, I would have been upset. But watching it all at once, like people who could just binge it, it won't be so bad. You know what I mean? So I would give it a 7. But I also gotta give it. Sometimes you gotta create your own narratives in this shit. Meaning, you have to add things in your head that you make canon to make the show better, which I do a lot. Like Snowfall, I just never watched the last episode. I
Valid.
I just
Valid.
never watched the last episode. The show ended the previous episode. I didn't. All of that extra shit never happened. She shot it. That was it. You know what I'm saying? In my head, that's how it goes. So for this show, you gotta add a little. You gotta forgive a little bit of things. You gotta take some of the shit that happened in the play into consideration. You gotta justify each little action. You know what I mean? You gotta convince yourself that it's good, but it is all right.
I have some things I'm
I
annoyed
feel
with
like
that the Duffer Brothers were clearly doing on purpose was getting you to think that someone was going to die, and they did it more than once. They did it with 11 twice. They
Yep.
made you think that Hopper shot her, and then Steve, obviously, and then Los, this is where I want to hear your. I know you got a little rant about this because you've already had.
If he would have died there, I would have been livid. You're telling me that Steve Harrington just gets pushed off a radio tower and he's dead. That would have been lame. I I cannot believe that not even one person fucking died. Not one. Now, I watched this in a
I
room full
told
of
you.
people. I
I
watched this
told
in a
you.
room full of people. Once that TV turned off, everyone was like, that was it. That's what we got. And it,
Yeah, that was me
like,
too.
like you're telling me that no one gets sideswiped or hit or stabbed by the leg of the mind flayer. You're telling me that Nancy just backs herself up into a corner and the mind flayer doesn't have some weird long ass tongue that he just snatches her up with. Like, and these are things that like they seemed like they're like obvious. They were right there, right?
Yep.
And if Hop, now I don't obviously think that would have happened, but if Hop actually shot 11 like that, that would have blown my fucking mind, like through the roof, to the
I'm gonna be
extent where I'd be
honest.
like,
I thought that
what are they gonna do now?
that would have been a very good. I was like, that would have
It
been
would
such a
have been.
twist. Like that would have been, like now that would have gotten interesting. But then it turned out he was just fucking with him, and I'm like,
I
So
Well,
thought
I,
and
the game, the
Bro,
video, the episode was very predictable. Though this episode was very predictable.
it was. It didn't feel like I was on the edge of my seat for anything. And the fact that you could have killed all of these characters, not all of them, most of these characters in many different ways, in many different parts of this finale, like Hop, right? When he was shooting, I thought maybe he shot the herbicide and shit was gonna blow up. I thought 11 was gonna be okay in the tank, but I thought Hop was gonna just die there, which I think should have. I think it should have happened. Now, granted, I'm glad he got his little happy ending with Mrs. Byers. I'm glad that they were at Enzo's. That was awesome. But like the fact that they couldn't even kill 11 is weak.
yeah.
It's weak.
First off,
They should.
I told you they were going to do this. I
Yeah.
told you last episode that they was going to do this. Nobody was going to die. All right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It is the truth. But here's what I'm going to say. What I meant earlier by you have to add your own context to this shit to make it make sense. For it to even hit good enough for me to consider it good, you have to first off, the hive mind is the biggest cop out that they put in the show.
Mhm.
And then you use it wrong, right?
Yep. Okay. Yep. I was gonna say I think we have the same gripe here.
So you use it wrong in the aspect that you're just making shit up. You're not clear how the rules work for this hive mind because
How is
we've
Will not
seen
getting hurt?
right. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
my
We've
gripe.
seen
How is
situations
Will
where
not
Will was
dying?
taking battle damage,
How are
but
the kids getting hurt behind the shit for real?
we've
'Cause they're
we've
all
also
attached to it at that point.
we also seen instance where fucking hell of the fucking demigordons die. And that
Mhm.
doesn't kill the rest of them. So killing Vector wouldn't have killed the Mind Flayer. That doesn't make sense. It would have taken damage, yes. They feel it as long as they're connected. But killing Vecna would not have instantly dropped that massive beast, who's way stronger than Vecna, by the way. Like, we can't just down the power scaling for this show is just not real. They make it up
It's
as
just
they
off.
go. There
Yeah.
is no power scale. Like, if the Mind Flayer is the big bad, then none of them should be able to fuck with him. Like, it shouldn't even be close. This is a thing that eats worlds, and it's getting beat up by 17-year-old kids.
See, and that was one of my gripes when it came to the fight of Vecna, because when 11 finally pushed Vecna onto that, little tooth, little spike or whatever, that should have killed Will.
I
She could have
agree. It
had
should have.
Winona being like, "You gotta stop! It's hurting Will." Blah blah blah. But obviously, no one knows that that's happening.
Yeah.
And so when 11 is pushing him back onto that spire, that should have hurt or killed Will.
Yeah,
It is
I'm all for
unfortunately
it,
what happens when you have a hive mind.
which is what they've been
Two,
going on the whole time, and they just
you're
changed it up.
telling me in this whole abyss, unless, and I just came up with this in my mind, it's something that I thank you, Jalen, for giving me the idea to create my own narrative. There were no demo bats. There were no
Right,
demo
just listen,
gorgons.
and I
There were
got that
no
written
demo
down.
dogs. And the only way that I will accept that is it looked like it was very possible that that mind flayer was still a culmination of like flesh and living creatures. So if you're telling me that maybe Vecna took all the living creatures from the abyss and he formed them into this giant spider mind flayer, but just needed the kids to get it up and running because of how massive it was, I can kind of wrap my brain around that.
No, I can't.
But
I cannot.
it seemed lazy. It
Because
seemed like, oh, this is the series finale. We gotta
so hear
we
me
got
out.
another project coming up. Let's just shovel shit out. And it's like,
Hear me out. Why do you have this amount of power that you keep displaying, but you need 12 more kids? You see what I'm saying?
And
You're all powerful
never.
here, but then you're not strong enough here. That
mhm.
doesn't make sense, bro. And then what happened to the smoke form of the mind flare? You know what I'm saying? Like
That's what my buddy was asking too.
so now
Yeah.
we got this living thing that can be fought. I didn't know it, bro. It could. I thought it was like omnipresent in that world. I thought like because that's the whole point of the hive mind is it's consumed everything. Everything that's there is one entity or being at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Which is why I'm like, which is why I can kind of understand, like, if at the end of the day the mind flayer himself was like, yo, I need all like living material so that I can form this giant body, because that's kind of what he did in season 3, right? Like he was melting humans down to get like this meaty fleshy form, and then he fought the kids as the mind flayer in the mall, right? And I'm like, okay, I can get with that. I can get behind that. That's a cool concept. But for the party to not have to fight anything and they can just stroll up freely, and you're using that entire walk going up to the Mind Flayer Fortress as character develop, we've seen these characters develop. Character development is supposed to stop here. That's what you had 4 seasons for it to bring it into 5, and you're still talking about, hey Steve, I'm Jonathan. I used to be jealous of you. Oh, well, I'm Steve and I want 6 nuggets like a Happy Meal. Like, dude, shut the fuck up and fight something for the love of God. Now,
There's a lot of
I got
talking.
really nervous when they were getting ready to fight the Mind Flayer, and you see Dustin fall, and I was like, yes, it's gonna happen. And then my boy Lucas comes and he does a little roll, right? And he gets him out of there. And I'm like, okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah, I knew
sick.
it.
Like, that was so cool. But again, you die, I die. That would have been a perfect
That was
move and
that was
motive.
for Steve and Dustin though. That was for Steve and Dustin though.
That's what I'm saying, though. But that would have been a perfect motive for Steve to go all out and be a little reckless with it and try to attack the Mind Flayer. And then the Mind Flayer just like, to Steve, right? You die, I die. Boom. Call it there. I'd be like, ah, you know what I'm saying? That moment when Dustin fell was the only time I actually scooted up to the edge of my seat and went, and then that was over within 2 seconds. 2
so
seconds.
here's the more context that I had to add to this shit because first off I got a whole list of shit of things that but I'll come back to all of this shit later. But right now I want to talk about how first off, let's just break it down from the top to the bottom. Everybody, all the kids on Earth, got their powers from the main kid who was Henry.
Yep.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. And he
Yep.
got his
Why?
from the suitcase.
Oh, and he should be the most powerful, hypothetically. Why? And I don't care how much 11 trained, she would never be able, just based off power scaling in any fantasy, she's never going to be able to catch him. He's the source. So your secondary power is never going to be strong enough to even fuck with Buddy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you having a push off with the OG. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. It's not gonna be close. She should have got bodied. I just watched him murder all of these soldiers with no problem. Who are you, little girl? Nothing. She should
Mhm.
be dead, right? She should be dead. But my
Don't
context that I'm saying that you gotta add is the shit that you say in the play because I watched a bunch of breakdowns because I didn't even
Yep.
know it existed, right?
Yep.
When you find out, and this is why I'm really mad that they never bring it up, he knows all of these kids' parents. You see what I'm saying? So for
Yeah.
him to say that the mind flare didn't have no control on over him, that cannot be true. I took that out of my mind. I erased that. Whoever put that in there is stupid. You ruined your shit. You ruined it. Because otherwise, the mind flare and Vecna should have murdered every single one of those kids. I don't think he wanted to kill these kids specifically because the reason of the kids he kidnapped. Like from the jump, if you're Vecna, the first kid that you kidnap is Will. You see a kid of one of your classmates of Joyce you knew personally. You
that
see what I'm
nigga
saying?
he knew Harrington's dad. He knew
Yep.
the Wheelers.
Literally,
He
he
knew
knew
everybody.
all of
He
these
knew
kids'
Hopper.
parents. So I believe Vecna Henry didn't really want to kill him. That's the only thing that makes sense, or they should have all been murdered. That's your plot armor right there. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? You could at least explain the fucking plot armor. Do you see what I'm saying? If you would have just had like at the
Now,
point where Will is literally talking to Henry like I know you don't want to do this da 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 da. Joyce at that point at least now knows Henry is the kid that she went to school with. There's no way you don't know. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And none of this takes it helps in nothing. You don't use this at all. What was even the point of the damn play if you wasn't even going? You know what I'm
The
saying?
point of the point of the play was to show that someone had been to the abyss or like to the abyss itself before, which is obviously how they got the little mind flare rock.
it was the
But
the Navy ship or whatever the fuck.
Right. And
yes,
these
it was
Navy men,
Dr. Brenner's father and
yeah,
his Navy team.
they all got smoked in the abyss. They got
Yep.
They did.
all of them died, but the
Except
kids survived.
except for the dad though, Doctor
Except for the dad. Yeah, but he was fucked up. He was fucked up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
my point still stands. These are Navy men who trained. They
Yeah.
die. They get murdered.
Mhm.
But the kids survive. And they got fucking homemade weapons and
Well,
flare
see,
guns.
and this one of the things that I kind of was waiting for, but it obviously never fucking happened was one. Let me just say, I love that Joyce got the final blow.
It
Shout
meant
out
nothing to
Joyce.
me. It meant nothing to
She,
me.
I
She
mean,
That
it
was a-
meant something to me.
real quick. That was a drawn out decapitation, bro. That shit
Yes,
took
it was for sure. That axe was dull as fuck.
forever.
It was dull as fuck. It was like five swings, six swings.
It was the
Yeah,
swings
it
for every person to have a memory to show us all. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was.
It was like
Yeah.
damn near 20 swings. It was
Which
more
how
than
many times did we
I know,
have to
I'd be
go
in the back
back
like,
and
do you need
keep
do you need
showing
help?
flashbacks of previous episodes? Like we get it. Like you're trying to, you know.
And that's
I'm like, we get it, man. Y'all took forever to make this show, man. Y'all. That's your fault, man. It didn't
But,
have to take
you know,
9 seasons to do this.
when it came down to it,
9 years. I'm sorry.
Joyce literally like looks at Vecna for like maybe a good what felt like 10, maybe 15 seconds. And you almost think that there's going to be some sort of like, Henry, is that you in there type shit? And then she goes, you fucked with the wrong family.
hell
And I'm
no.
like, wait. That's it? That's it? That's all you're gonna do?
The way I viewed that scene was when she was looking at him, it's like, you're the reason why my son is fucked up. You've been fucking with my son all this time. I lost my boyfriend because of your ass, R.I.P. Bob. You know what I mean? A lot of shit hit her at home. So yeah, when she looked at him, I viewed it as just like, man, I can't believe it. This motherfucker really did all this shit. I'm about to chop his head off.
Yeah.
That's just all smoke, and they don't even cover the history that they really got, which is probably why Bob died in the first place. Anyway, he's one of the only characters to really die. But,
Yep.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But that's
Yep.
probably some old beef. You see what I'm saying? It's generational, and I'm saying if you're not going to touch on it, why even do it?
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
worried that they was going to do too much of the shit in the play, in the episode, and they did none of it, which is even worse than the other two options. Like, you know what I mean?
The only part in the play that tied the play into like Henry for real and in the show was the fucking scientist with the briefcase. That was like the peak moment because he was still in Nevada. He hadn't moved to Hawkins yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that shit it went with him. Like,
Yeah.
Mind Flayer was a day oneer for Henry type shit. So, that was the only way it kind of made sense. But to show like the high school memories in the play and all this shit, they didn't really make a difference because you didn't even.
They didn't write it the way that I'm thinking about it, but in my head, the high school shit is the reason those kids are not dead. Like I said, look who he chose to take. He took Will and then Holly Weaver. He went to school with these people, bro. He
Yeah.
could have killed these kids at any point if he wanted to, and he didn't. He was
Yeah.
borderline protecting them. That's how I'm viewing it. That's why they didn't die. Because he was trapped by the fucking mind flare and Loki wanted to get out. It's the only thing that makes sense because Vecna really should be OP. Like I said, they got all their powers from him. From him, they
Yeah.
shouldn't even come close. No disrespect to 11, but this man spent how many years in Abyss training, basically, learning how to use his powers to the fact that he can literally control the whole hive. You can't even tap into the hive, bitch, but you should be because you got his powers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Secondly, right? And I got a whole list. It's literally the top of the list that says make it make sense. I think we should do that. I need a segment. Let me get a segment at the end, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
just
called Make
list
It Make
off
Sense.
make it make sense. That's what I want to call it. But like,
I like it. I like it.
why? And I'm surprised no one else has said this. If Kali got her powers from Vecna, how come he cannot do the things that she could do? Why is she the only one casting motherfucking uh illusions?
Illusions. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
understand that.
I think that was like back in what was it, 2 when they did that. I think it was explained that like each kid has a different power set, but they all seem to be able to like push each like when
I
Brenner was
get the
training the
power set
kids.
difference, but if you're getting your power from a main source, the power set that you get would have to be something that they have. How do you get a power set that Vecna does not have himself? Do you
What do
see
you mean?
what I'm
Vecna
saying?
made Hopper see an illusion.
Then he should have been used. Then it should like you see what I'm saying. There's more reason he's OP. Then like if he
Oh,
can
yeah,
do
no.
that,
100%.
this story is over with. What are we doing? Like that, you can't tell me he wasn't protecting the kids. That's my whole point. Because if he can do that, literally cast illusions.
Well, I mean, he probably didn't want to kill 11 or 8 because if he could successfully like convert them to the dark side or the bad side or however, then he probably views that as like, if I can kill all her other little friends and shit like that, then maybe they'll be like, oh, we have nowhere else to go, and he can get in their minds and convince them to join him, and then they'd be more powerful together. But he also showed us that he wasn't the only one that Eight's not the only one that could do illusions, when Kali literally gets up on the table, tries to stab him, and then he's
Right.
gone.
Then
And
that's the
so I'm
only
like,
time you use
where's
it.
that
My
then?
point is they should not
Mhm.
be even able to fuck with him, bro. The man's hooked up to the mind flare who gave him his powers, essentially. So
Yeah.
he should be OP, and the mind flare shouldn't even be getting touched. You're throwing fire at it, you don't give a fuck. It's on a fucking barren planet. You think fire is Lucas got hit by and this was a few episodes ago when the Demigorgon slapped him across the chest, and there's just
Yeah.
one, and it didn't
Yep.
kill him. What the precision it would take for you to just suddenly decide not to go for a kill shot is something that would have had to come from Vecna, is what I'm saying. Like otherwise, that one you'd have been gone, bro. Like just that one thrash almost took off Mrs. Wheeler's face. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Whoa.
The plot
Uh,
armor needs to be explained. It's got to be explained in a way that Henry is
that's
the
what I said in the last episode. The last episode we did, I said you're plot armoring all these kids. But see, here's where I think that, not the disconnect, but I'm not sure what other word to use. We watched Welcome to Derry, and those poor kids had no plot armor, none.
And
From the
yet
very
they
first
they
episode to
still
episode 7.
came out. Most of them, except for RP Richie, but most of
but
them came
no,
out
but
alive. Like yeah.
But and to that fact, why do you think that is? Because Big Pen had a personal relationship with it. He told the little girl, I know what's gonna happen to me in the future from your fucking kids. You see what
Yep.
I'm saying? So there's a part of that Penny, he's just being petty, and we know that he's playing with them, which is why he loses. Not that he can't, but when he does lose, it's because he's playing around.
It's
You
his
see what
own
I'm
fault.
saying?
It's his own fault.
It's literally his own fault. So how would it not apply this way? It's just back to my same point, bro. Like
Yeah. And the Duffer Brothers, like I just I understand that there is the whole like writer strike and all that, they had plenty of time to go through and write this and make it. Like, I just don't get it, man. What happened? The first season of Stranger Things was so fucking good. It was so good. The first two
Mhm.
were really like you, and then it felt like they just got so carried away. Like it you
It
know,
literally felt like seasons 1 through 3, right, were
you had it
were
going. You had something there. Then it
yes, and
just
all the way from like the very first time we meet Elle to a secret Russian undercover underground base in the mall to you know it like it just I don't know. It at one point, and this was a minute ago, so it probably wouldn't even have anything to do here, but I believe the Duffer Brothers were offered to either do or maybe this no, maybe I should shut the fuck up because it was either the writers of Game of Thrones or the Duffer Brothers. They were offered a Star Wars movie, and so they hurried up and finished everything and like rushed through writing. And I think this was the Game of Thrones writers. But I wonder if something almost similar happened to the Duffer Brothers, where they were like either offered something new, focusing on other projects and things like that, and they just rushed to hurry up and get this out, especially after the SAG-AFTRA strike was over, because they were like, "Oh, well, we know fans are waiting. We know that they're anticipating all this, and the But when you're watching these interviews of the kids doing press for this season, someone asked Millie, like, "Are you happy with the ending that your character got?" And she goes, "Mm-hmm." Like clearly she wasn't. Finn Wolfhard made a comment about we're really worried about having this being received as a Game of Thrones season 7 ending, which I don't know if any of y'all watched that, but
Yeah, it
Finn
was
Wolfhard was fucking right.
I was in
fucking
Alan's house. No, not Alan's. The house. I think Alan was
Yeah.
there, and they hosted it. I had never actually watched it. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Maybe this will make me want to watch it. And I just see all of them just pissed. Every single one
Yeah,
of them
bro.
that bit. I'm like, is this not good? I'm sitting there watching. I'm like,
Is this not good?
I'm sitting there
It's not
watching.
good.
I'm watching. I'm like, are we supposed to be able to see? Is there a setting on your TV? I was like,
Oh, dude,
they were like,
the
no. They were
lighting
like,
was
no.
shit.
I was like, no. This is just shitty lighting. I was like, okay.
They
Well, see,
I was
and
like, I'm not gonna watch
that's
it.
the thing is,
I'm not gonna
you know,
watch it.
like Noah Schnapp even at one point was like he had made the comment that some of the writers, or no, some of the fans are better writers than the Duffer Brothers. Now,
yeah.
obviously, he was just like probably joking, but he did say that. He literally said it in an interview. And, even he thought, he's like, my coming out scene, he's like, is it even that important? He was like, how is this going to work? And they even released a statement that said that scene was the longest scene, or like took the longest amount of time to shoot. It was like a 12-hour fucking day for that fucking scene. And I'm like, no
Jesus.
wonder at the very end this dude wasn't crying, because he had no tears left, because y'all made him fucking do this 8 million times over. And so when the actual actors, who unfortunately probably don't have as much say as we would like them or they would like themselves to have, when the actual actors of these characters come to you and say, I'm not feeling this with my character, I don't really think they would do X, Y, and Z, don't we already know that he's gay, kind of thing. All I'm saying is, writers, listen to your fucking actors. It's now, I know they're paid to write, they're paid to just act and not,
Well, this is the thing.
but
Not
like,
to cut you
no,
off.
please.
It's a politics game, bro. When it comes to actors trying to tell writers what to do, writers are gonna get pissed off because that actor could damn near get a credit next to them instead of them having a credit on
Yep.
their own. That's how a lot of art actors or actresses ended up getting writing credits sometimes. Is by annoying the writer so fucking much they change it. Oops, now I got a writing credit. Yay. Now I got an EP credit. That's how that shit works. So
Damn.
I never
I
thought about
think,
that.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think it was the last season was a mix of bad writing because your Game of Thrones comparison was on point. That was bad writing, and I'm gonna say it was bad writing because they finished the fucking series when the book series isn't even fucking finished, and they
Yes.
dramatized so much extra shit. Like it that last season isn't real in my opinion. It's not.
Sometimes you just gotta stop. You're like,
Yep.
yep, you're done.
You literally just have to stop. Yeah.
It's not real.
And it's just such a bummer because you have so many loyal fans who sat there through the strike, through the SAG-AFTRA stuff, knowing that it was difficult for writers and producers to do things in this moment. But to Squire's point, that should have been the perfect amount of time to write whatever the fuck you could have written at that point so that you could put it into play once you were allowed to.
Yep.
But you're telling me we just got a group of kids fighting a giant fucking monster with shotgun shells and flamethrowers. Like Steve and Dustin are stabbing the eggs underneath the fucking mind flayer, and you're telling me that motherfucker didn't just go.
Right. Yeah.
It's.
There was just It was.
Plot armor can lead to so much bad writing to the point where you're like, okay, well, is this plot armor or is this bad writing? They're one and the same sometimes.
Such a volatile mix of many things, bro. Crazy.
I will say this. Now that I'm actually because I'm rewatching the last episode now. I have it up, and they just got to the abyss. The monster looked kind of fragile in some ways. It was kind of weird. I don't know, because it's like the inside of it was pretty much hollow, aside from like, the heart and obviously limbs, and the way Elle ripped her way inside looked a little too easy.
That's what I'm saying. You're telling me she figured out that she could do all that because she was blowing pumpkins up for a year and a half? Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know. Now and off of that, it makes me think. It makes me think: is this motherfucking mind flare? It's soft. I don't know.
Very.
It's like it's soft, but it's not. I don't know.
Well, and that's why I was like mind blown because Nancy's fucking sitting here, and you're seeing like flesh explode off the monster, and I'm like, I'm telling you that wouldn't do it. I'm telling you right now that wouldn't do it.
Once they lit it on fire, it was a wrap. So I'm like, yeah, this thing was weak. It wasn't really a real boss. It was just big. That was it. It was just big.
That was it. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Somebody put that on the screen.
I got you. What's the? You said what's
that
next
thing
on the list?
had the structural integrity of a squash.
Yes, of like a rotted pumpkin.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Almost as if she's been training for that. That's.
So
Thank you. Yeah, this is like a giant pumpkin.
My questions kind of loop back from because the discussion we was having about Eddie when we was discussing if we've ever seen the what do you call the bats, the demi bats,
Stemobats.
We've never seen them leave the upside down at that point. You know what I mean? Now we know that they come from the abyss and they was just there, right? If the mind flare was in charge, right? Its whole purpose is it wants to get to our dimension to consume it, correct?
Yes.
So it could have been made those moves to do so. That's my thing. You got a portal from your dimension into the upside down into ours. They would have been took it and overran it. I just don't understand why you wouldn't do that if that's not your like if that's some big boss shit. That's scary. You know what I mean? But like it makes it seem like that was supposed to be the plan. Vecna's like, let's do this, but he did everything actively to not do that.
It literally just felt like all Vecna was there for was to get lifted up with these tubes coming from his back. I never once watched this man do anything important.
He said, yeah.
Bro, he attacked the military and then they just proceeded.
That was the scariest I've seen him. I'm gonna be honest.
And the military still proceeded to have their priorities on. I'm like,
on the kids, bro. They were like, get these kids out of there.
Like,
you know why?
I'm sorry.
They probably felt the same way we felt because if these kids could beat him, you know the government would have beat him. You see what I'm saying? That's why they wanted Elle so bad because they're okay with just roaming around in the upside down and the abyss. They're not scared of it at all. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, kill our men. We'll send more. No,
I don't think the military necessarily knew about the abyss.
No, I don't
because
think
they didn't have Brenner's notebook.
But I believe that regardless of what they were going in to see, like on some peacemaker shit, they didn't really care what they was gonna go see. Whatever's there, we'll deal with it. Would have been there, fuck it.
We keep dying and you keep sending us in there. What the fuck?
But realistically, that's how it should have been entering it. Like you said, there was no demigods. Nothing, bro. Like we
Yeah.
see those kill humans all the time, and the mind flare can't get one of y'all. Eddie died to bats, and Bob died from a demi dog, and Mrs.
And
Wheeler
now
almost
you're in
died
my
from a
position
fucking.
that
Yeah, I feel you.
yeah.
But I was trying to give it more time from the last episode. Like, okay, maybe they'll wrap up these stories. But all they did was piss
They
me off.
spent a whole hour lollygagging and then a whole hour graduating.
Yo.
That's what lollygagging to graduating. That was the episode.
That and then reminiscing.
Yeah.
Also,
And then you got me feeling bad for Mike for no reason.
I'm also seeing here online how much money these motherfuckers made per episode.
Millie probably got a mill.
Yeah, 1.25.
Golly.
Episode?
I wish I could get 1.2 million for doing this. Smoldering, looking at the camera, pushing shit around.
They did more.
I'm
than
11.
That. They did more than that, but okay. You're simplifying.
So
11
I
did
think-
not do anything this season. Prove me wrong.
that
She did. She did some
She
things.
did.
Thinking acting wise, you gotta really think acting wise. She did some things, man.
11 didn't really feel like she did anything this episode or like this season other than like get Hopper into the little base that they thought Vecna was at, right? And then they blue balled the fuck out of us and being like, just kidding, it's number 8. And you're like, okay, for what? For what? Like, it felt like 8 could have not been here the entire time and she would have been fine. If you wanted 8 to do something important, that bitch should have shot Hopper. 11 should have been like, no, don't do it. And then she does it. And then 8 and 11 have this fight before she has to go fight Vecna. She has to leave Hopper in the Upside Down because she knows she's got to leave to fight Vecna regardless. You know, they come back and Joyce is like, where's Hopper? Also, you didn't show them come back from the abyss. You showed like a 10-minute, like, by the way, we're all back. The whole party.
Actually, I'm glad you said that. It make sense. One of the things on this list.
And like you're telling me they got all these
said-
kids down that giant fucking radio tower in 5 minutes flat? Go fuck yourself.
I said, how the hell y'all get Derek Big Ass down that tower? He ain't go down that tower.
And not them giving my boy the poor like big kid trope. Where's Derek?
But that's
Like,
what
come
I'm
on,
saying.
dog.
That's kind of real. That's kind of. I ain't gonna lie.
No, but I'm
I
saying
mean, yeah, but
That's probably the most
that's
realistic
the
thing to do.
realest thing of the whole
No.
show.
because they did that, you kind of have to do the same thing on the tower. That's we watched Jonathan and Steve race up that bitch. It's massive, bro. Like all of those kids would have been in fear for their life. Because I know if I came out of a portal and I had to climb down a tower, I'd be like, yo.
I'd be like, whoa.
what?
I've been like,
An
"Suck
almost
my
broken
cock,
tower.
suck my
Yeah.
cock." I'm sitting
Call a
here.
helicopter, come get me.
Yeah, I'm not going down this fucking tower. All them damn no, bro. One of them kids is falling, guaranteed. That's a fact. Like,
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta do like GTA. Just hold the fucking button. Just start sliding.
Literally. See, and another one of my gripes is once Sarah Connor, whatever her character, Dr. K,
Yeah. What happened? To
once her character finds Vicky and Max, you don't see Vicky anymore in the series or anymore in the episode. She's not even at the graduation. She's not even anywhere with Robin. And 2, after you see the military capture everybody, you don't see Murray after that either. Murray's not even at the graduation.
That's actually facts.
What
We
the
got no endings to a bunch of these characters. We have none.
You added a
Dr.
character
K.
in who no one gave a
Even
now
Dr.
I'm
K.
right.
Like, what happened? Like,
Where's Dr. K? You're telling me that
what
they're just
happened?
like, all right, round it up.
right. That's probably what happened. That makes
And we
sense.
didn't
That-
even see like you're telling me we couldn't even see the Earth like come back together. So am I supposed to assume that there's still a giant fucking crevice in Hawkins? If the Upside Down is gone and the Abyss is gone and everything is destroyed, wouldn't that shit just?
You would think there.
Or if not, you just telling me we have a giant metal Band-Aid across the whole thing?
Probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's the strange thing, people.
And I'm gonna say this: having the Duffer Brothers go, L's ending is up for you to interpret. Lazy.
It's not. It's not. She's not dead. You know how I know she's not dead?
How's
Because
she
they
not
put
dead?
the scene. You put the scene. You see what I'm saying? If you're trying to do ominous endings to say maybe she survived or not, then you don't actually shoot the scene of her going to this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just showed me. You literally just showed me, bro.
And,
Not
and,
him.
and
You
she
know,
goes to the spot where like Will was telling Hop, he was like, yeah, I told her we should run away to this spot with like a few waterfalls. That's where she's at. Yeah, she's alive. Like,
she's alive.
yeah.
Lazy,
But
bro.
I was mad as fuck.
but
I said I'm gonna be mad
there,
if she's alive.
the thing is, they're stupid. They're stupid. They're stupid. Okay. What we did all this boosting up Will shit for him to fight from the sidelines. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? Just wait to, you know what I mean? Doesn't make sense. Whatever. Move on.
Mhm.
But we did all of this, and you forget about Elle. If she would have got a massive power up, meaning just at least learning 8 powers, you know what I mean? Y'all came cut from the same cloth, so you should hypothetically be able to do that. That's normal. If you follow the Dragon Ball formula, unlock a new form at least to win the fight, because you unmatched, you can't win. You at this state, you cannot win. That's what Goku always do. You see what I'm saying? You like, damn, I knew kind of thought that I maybe could be able to do this, so let me try it, or else we all smoked. You know what I mean? Because then it would have made more sense. Because you want to leave the ending up to interpretation. So if she would have got that power up, she could have just cast a fucking illusion. Then you wouldn't have to wonder if Kali's able to stay alive for 45 more minutes for her to do the damn. You know what I
Bro.
mean?
And in their world, it would have been a couple hours.
Right? Like we're not
She would have
Yeah.
just been sitting there, just. I think I can hold on longer. I can hold on longer.
I got it. I got it.
What are
I
you
don't
doing?
have a bad-
Also, remember in season 2 when she showed up and she escaped with all the people in the van? She cast the illusion and they was able to keep moving with the illusion. So why she make herself disappear and not get up? You know what I mean? Because I feel like for a second there, she could have
Oh,
like
when
why
the
she
dude's like,
yeah, like what are we doing? What are we
yeah.
doing?
See, and again, and that's where it gets lazy because you're telling, like, one, Hopper was totally going to let that bitch die. He was totally going to let her die. But I think it was
Like,
also,
the way he walked out with Elle, he was like, well, shit.
he literally bends down, he picks up Jane, and he's like, he's out. And then you're like, he's gone.
I was like, are you not gonna? I was like, oh, he's
No,
gonna go
I
back.
was
I was like, he's gonna go
no.
back for her. And I'm like,
I should just keep going through bullshit, man. Fuck Callie, damn.
See, but here's why I think Elle is dead, right? I don't think she's alive. I don't think she's living happily ever after because the what made me kind of cement that idea was Max was like, I thought you were this great storyteller. That's what he's doing. He's telling a story. He says he chooses to believe that. If he's choosing to believe that and doesn't actually believe it, it's because it's not real. If that was real, then 11 and Mike, when they were in the void at the very end, before they had their like last kiss goodbye, she would have been like, don't worry, maybe we can see each other again type shit. Or don't worry, like, but that's what I'm saying. At one point, Mike looks at the speakers that are emanating noise and he's like, what? Is that like, and it makes you think is 11 still there? Is 11 gonna walk right out of the back room and be like, oh, they summoned the mage, here comes 11, she's actually fine and alive? No, I think she's dead. But for the Duffer Brothers to be like, formulate your own ending, bro, just tell me you couldn't do it. Just tell me you couldn't do it.
Because they didn't do it. They didn't do
Exactly, because they
because she's not dead, Los. This is what I'm trying to tell you. They got
She
spinoffs
gone.
coming.
Alive. She's
So
alive.
and I would argue
I'm not
that
watching those spin-offs.
even if she didn't cast the illusion, she could very well still be alive.
So here's my thing, right? We
Like that
know
explosion is not guaranteed to have killed her. Maybe you don't know what happened to that antimatter. Like you have no idea what happened once that portal closed.
not obviously to not specifically know, but Dustin, even when he's flipping through Brenner's book, he's like, if you fuck that up, you
Bro.
fuck it all up.
Listen, he doesn't know that. Every single thing Dustin did in that show was a guess. He's not a fucking rocket scientist. And
No,
also,
but I'm saying at the very end, he's like, don't touch the exotic matter or you'll wipe us all out. I'm sure at some point Brenner was like, don't touch exotic matter, we will all die.
let me tell you something. I got this right here in my Make It Make Sense too. Brenner's also a dumbass. They don't know what they're doing. It's all accidental science. They don't know nothing. Because you're telling me, hear me out. Brenner
Mhm.
built a a fucking bridgeway from one dimension to another, right? Without being able to open the door, Los. He's smart enough to make the hallway, but the nigga didn't make the doors, Los. Do you know how that makes me? How?
Well, I mean, yeah, because
How? He was never able to open the doors without one of the kids.
but see, I don't
How?
think do we think he knew about the abyss or how to get there? Did he know
That
that he just
that was his whole goal. It had to be. He knew that Dimension X was a thing. His dad went there.
Mhm.
He was always trying to get back there. That was always the whole point of his shit. So he basically created the upside down, which we know to be a bridgeway, to get there. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like the mind flare was the only thing that was trying to get there. Brenner was also trying to get back to the other side. He
But I don't
created the
think
antimatter, right? Whatever you want to call it.
I don't so here's where I'm a little conflicted on that because the upside down wasn't a thing on Brenner's radar until 11 pushed Henry through it. In season what 4, they
No.
talk about how that wasn't a thing until 11, like she didn't like there was no doorway open to the upside down before 11 did her thing. But it wasn't because of 11, it was because of Henry. He was like, "Nah, I'm not going. You're not doing me like this." And I think it was the mind flayer because
She sent him to the abyss. When you go back and look at that scene specifically, he goes to the abyss, right?
yes,
That was his first time there, but he had already been connected to the mind flare.
correct.
You know what I'm saying? It was a cause and effect chain reaction that caused all of that shit. But Henry was the ultimate key at the end of the day. He was
Mhm.
the main, you know what I'm saying?
Which is why he was using 11 to find Henry, but he
Right.
never could because Henry was just chilling in the abyss.
In the
I
abyss.
don't think Brenner knew that specifically.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. Because I always
But
thought, like,
then why would he have created the fucking antimatter then? That is the question that still
I
pops
don't
back
think
up.
he did. I don't know if he did. Like, was there anything
I don't
specifically
think
stating that
I
he
don't
did?
I think that that's what he said in the notebook.
I think they discovered it because I think the
All
exotic or antimatter is
I would
what's keeping.
prefer that they discovered it. It makes more sense. But like in all the breakdown videos that I watched, it literally they said that he like y'all can look it up, I think.
So I have no doubt that he found it. I don't think he created it
I
because
hope that he found it. That's what I'm saying. If he created it, I
yeah,
feel like that is a massive what the fuck
yeah, that's
if he
too much.
did.
That's too much.
It's with that science is just not
It's not science enough, and it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. You know what I
it's
mean?
not science
Nice.
enough. Let me look.
Because when Dustin is flipping through his notebook, there's he says like we found this exotic matter, we realize that we can't damage it and whatnot. But I don't believe that in any of the time going into the upside down in prior seasons that we've ever been in that we've ever been in the Hawkins laboratory. I don't think in all 4 seasons of them going to the upside down that we saw that one time until this season.
Yeah, man. All in all, I give like this finale a 6. I give it a 6.
I think it was all bad, and I gotta give my own context, like I said, to make it good. So you get that 7, right?
I,
But
I
it went wrong because so many things went. You got the
How you
Duffer
say it was
Brothers.
all bad and give it a 7?
Yeah, because I told you I had to fix it in my head.
No, no. But if you
Yes.
didn't fix it, if you didn't have to fix it, what would you give it?
Can we just really just not do the last season? You know, when how shows just go off sometimes and they never finish it. I'd almost rather that. And I know
So
that's
you could have given me a fucking Sopranos ending with 11, and I'd have been like, I still would have been pissed, but it would have been better than whatever the fuck. My thing is like the Duffer Brothers didn't seem brave enough to take any risks, right? They couldn't even just officially kill 11. They couldn't officially let her go. The only person we lost this whole season was Kali. And that's because nobody gave a fuck about her. Nobody.
Yeah, no. Hopper was like, "Oh no."
You brought 8 back because society was pissed that you ever since like season 3 and 4, people have been so angry that like they introduced Kali and didn't do anything else with her, but it was because they were trying to do a spin-off material with her and nobody fucking liked her character. But then you had the whiners that were like, "Oh, you guys are just racist assholes who didn't want to see," and it's like, no, I don't think that was it. I think it was just a bad character in a bad setting. But if you were to introduce her in a different storyline, she could have had potential. She could have had 8 could have been so fucking cool and so fucking useful, but instead you just left her like toilet paper on the bottom of your shoe. Didn't know it was there until the time was right, and you're like, oh,
It was just a
come on.
storyline that they wanted to kind of wrap up, so they just like, oh yeah, easy person to kill.
Hop should have
'Cause
died.
we keep saying
Steve
nobody
or Jonathan
died, but
should
she
have
literally died.
That's what I'm saying. But nobody died to that point. Nobody. Like, like, and to an extent, right? Like, I'm as this is all going down, I'm texting my D&D buddies about this. This episode definitely was a D&D fight, right? Like, you got regular sized people that go up against these giant fucking monsters, and they do defeat them, but it's with like magic and shit. It's with, bronze and brains and quick thinking. And you're telling me these guys scaled a Grand Canyon sized mountain to get onto the very top of this thing to just throw Molotovs and flamethrower them.
Right.
That's right. There was just stairs
Like-
conveniently there for you.
Like I'm saying, bro, and like it didn't make any good sense from a writing standpoint. Now, I'm not saying I could have done better, but I probably could have made it made more sense. You
Makes
know
it
what I
make
mean?
sense.
Side note. I just had to say this. The actress that plays Callie, she's 32.
Damn.
32.
Damn.
Everybody kept saying, and you can probably edit this out because this is just funny, but everyone kept saying that she looked like Deep Roy, the Oompa Loompa from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because she was just standing back there and was so short the whole time. I'm like, damn, okay, you didn't really have to do her like that, but like, oh man, I would
She's
have preferred.
32. Jesus.
I would have preferred that 11 was actually dead. I personally believe that she's actually dead. But this is exactly what the Duffer Brothers want. And I'm not going to give them anything they want because they want people like Jalen to be like, I think she's alive. And they want people like me to be like, nuh-uh.
No,
So that they can just keep talking about it.
Here's the thing. I if you're writing, and maybe we could just chalk this up to bad writing like we have with everything else and shit, right? If you're going to do it, why not do it? What I get what you're saying, but I'm saying why not capitalize on killing your biggest star if you're not going to do it? So to leave it up for interpretation is literally them saying she's not dead. You see what I'm saying? Because otherwise you would have just boom, it's a slam dunk, and then you would have made at least half the fans happy. Because right now no one's happy.
Yeah.
I just don't get what do you gain from doing it that way? Besides
Meg
maybe
just
one
texted
day
me.
spin off.
Meg just texted me and says, Derek's suck my fat one line in the ending made the show an extra 0.5 rating for me. She said it gave it an extra 0.5.
Suck my fat one.
Suck my fat one. And here's the other thing that I thought was, I want to say it was cringy because like they're kids, right? But like, you're telling me Derek was able to pull Holly away from the hand of Vecna. At one point, when Derek is trying to pull Holly away, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay,
No
get the other
explanation,
kids,
man.
grab Derek and pull. Like it's all the kids fighting for each other while fighting Vecna. And you're telling me we just gotta suck my fat one?
One thing I was a little
Come on.
confused about too, I'm like, so wait, there's 2 different caves that are the same cave technically? Because there's the cave that he initially won't go in because of that memory of him killing that dude with the rock, but then they go further and then they go down the tunnel and find that same exact memory.
I
It's
think
the
it was more
same
so like
lines and
this is the.
everything. It was the same. Like he heard the same things, but then one was actually he's. I don't know. I was confused. Like it was the
I
same
think
memory.
the way that I perceived that was like this is the gateway slash doorway into that memory, because obviously all the kids end up like going up and over that open window and down into that cave. And I think that's probably similar to what happened to Henry. Was he was in Nevada, he either got lost on his little Boy Scout trip or whatever, or just ventured off on his own, accidentally fell through that hole.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think he like, what's this, and climbed down it. I think it was the same way that they did Holly. Holly almost fell through that shit, and if Max wasn't there, she'd have just. So, I think it was kind of a little bit of that, because the cave was more so like a doorway to what Henry is afraid of on the other side.
Hmm.
Because other than that, it was just a massive canyon spanning across like miles of things that this cave was the only entrance to that memory. Um, but I thought it was just so weird because little kid Henry was like, "I'm gonna kill you with this rock. I just killed a guy." Suitcase? Okay. Like what? As a child, bro, I'd be like, "Oh,
Run.
oh, I'm out of there." You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna like be like, "Yo, I'm gonna kill this grown man." See what's in a suitcase. Like, because you knew at that point Henry was probably a normal ass kid before that, but then you're like, maybe he always had a screw loose. Maybe he was always just weird. Like, I don't know, man. It seemed rushed. It seemed sloppy, and you know, like my boy Kratos just said, one question is answered and two more arise. Like, but I got like 4 or 5. I got a couple of questions off of one answer, and it wasn't even an answer. You know, everyone this season was like, "Oh, we're actually gonna figure out what the upside down is." And the upside down is just a hallway. It's just a hallway.
It's just a hallway with no doors.
You spent
I
4 seasons.
I still would rather honestly I would if the mind flare invented the antimatter. I keep calling it that, but is that what even called? Is it
Exotic matter.
the
Antimatter sounds
Zaza
cooler
matter?
though.
The Zaza matter. You know what I'm saying? Like if the mind flare did that, if that's how the mind flare eats worlds, then I would accept that. You find a new dimension, you shoot a ball of antimatter into the damn place, create a hallway, and just take that shit. That if that was
Yep.
the actual plan, then it would have been better. And I know Vecna kept saying that was the plan, but it never felt like he was really trying to do that, in my opinion. So we leaving shit up to interpretation. That's how I'm interpreting it. Like he lied.
The
He
way that
said
the way
he
that
never
I
controlled me and I never controlled it. He fucking lied. He doesn't know any better. He's been brainwashed.
Yes. Yes. And I took it as like a, so I kind of compared it to Star Wars a little bit, right? Darth Vader thinks he's in control, but the Emperor knows he's in control of Darth Vader. And it, like at the end, Darth Vader could have ended all the rebels at any point in time that he wanted to, but there was a slight part of him that wanted the rebels to win so that he could be free from the Emperor. But when given that opportunity, at one point, Vader doubles down and is like, "Nah, I'm a bad guy." And so I tried to perceive it as like a way of like Henry wants to be free. He knows he wants to be free, but in season, what was it, 4, he at one point says that he controlled the mind flare to form that giant shadow mist spider, and he was like, "I took control of it." And this whole time, it was very evident that the mind flayer had control of
Yeah,
Henry.
bro. He eats planets for a living.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, man. Nothing, like I
So
said,
I don't know if he necessarily wanted to be saved, which is what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
he
I don't,
wanted
I don't, because I don't
take
think
me
he
out.
believed that he needed saving.
Take me
Like, I
out.
don't
You don't
think
have no
he,
other options. If there's a smidge of the little kid that he used to be in there, which we've seen that there was, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's why he didn't want to go and deal with that memory because that's the last time that pure kid was there. That kid
Yes.
is obviously what stopped all of it. That's the only thing that makes sense, bro. Beckman wanted to be taken out because
Mhm.
otherwise, if you get into a pushing match with the nigga who gave you your powers, you're gonna lose. Like he should be able to
See,
live
and
like hypothetically just toss. 11 around like it's nothing.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
and one of the things that also didn't make any sense to me is there was no dialogue in the final fight. You're telling me the whole fight was just grunts and push noises?
really?
They literally
Wait, I never caught.
they said nothing to each other. She goes in, she rips open the mind flayer, and they just start fucking pushing each other. There's nothing to give it any sort of weight. There's
Yeah.
nothing to be like, you thought you could defeat me, but you're
Because that's what he
wrong.
used to do. That makes me feel like he kind of
Yes,
wanted to be taken out. I don't know.
it's lazy, man,
He was.
because you're
I don't think it's
telling me that
lazy because you keep saying it's lazy, but I think, like I said, that volatile mix is so. First off, all it like he just gave us the salaries of all of these kids, right? Now you have to write these scenes to get all of these kids their screen time. Like it just probably changed so much for them, and they don't. They literally have not done this before, and it just
then maybe it's not lazy, but it's a misuse of time.
yeah, they fucked up. They missed. It's okay. It happens.
Like, and so in D&D, the left hand of Vecna, which obviously they show a lot, is like one of the biggest and baddest weapons and items that you can get in like the actual tabletop game. Like it's actually crazy. And when she ripped it off, I'm like, okay, one, y'all never thought to do that before. Why are you just doing it now? Two, all you did was zoom in on the arm and that was it. Like Will didn't use it to do anything. Like there were so many more cool. Like, dude, I swear to God, and this might just be because I'm a nerd. My dungeon master has created better storylines and endings to certain campaigns than this fucking show.
I would
Like,
believe that.
Will could have gone in there, taken the hand of Vecna, put it on him to try to like control the mind flayer and stop it, instead of all these little kids running around going, like, come on, dude. And the only thing you finally give Will something cool, and the only thing that you give him out of 2 episodes from the whole season is like a misuse of time. Lazy.
Like I said, they just
It's
had to
just a
give everybody
letdown.
their screen time, bro, because they abandoned. And I know when I was doing my binge that I kind of was getting sick of it, but Stranger Things tends to follow a plot, or at least it used to. Not a plot, a structure, the way they set up the
Mhm.
episodes or the seasons. It would be like you got this team, you got this team, 2 different storylines that conveniently merge into the main boss at the end. You see
Yes.
what I'm
And
saying?
that's how it's supposed to go.
They completely abandoned that. You know what I'm saying? We went off on a whole side mission of Max and Holly, where we're just basically waiting for Max to get out of. That's what those 3 episodes are really about. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like they changed everything just to get everybody their screen time, just to do this, and it just got out of hand. It just didn't turn out.
I didn't want to.
Characters in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War had less screen time than these motherfuckers, and they still got the point through. Now, granted, I know it's a movie scale to a TV scale, but I'm saying like
But I mean, that was basically a movie, 2 hours.
that's what I'm saying. And you're telling me that nothing like not like you just did clean up for this entire season?
I also didn't realize this.
Yeah.
I know this is actually completely off topic, but as soon as we started recording, uh, Marvel released the Wonder Man trailer.
You know, I watched it. I did watch it though.
Yeah, so I'm
And
gonna.
anything with Trevor Slattery in it, I know they're just like kicking to the curb. Trevor Slattery, I'm an actor. Like, okay, dude, you were
I think
done in Iron
it'll
Man
6
3,
p.m.
bro.
Pacific,
it
so
seems
it'll
like
be
it doesn't
9.
hold any stakes into the greater Marvel universe, which is
Yeah, I
fine.
don't think it does,
It'll
which is
be-
fine. I actually be okay with that because
But I do think it'll be a good show because he's a good actor.
we
And
like
Trevor's a good actor. to
we
do
like plenty of
whatever.
good shows. You know,
Wonder Man's a fun character too.
Yeah,
so it comes out Tuesday, January 27th at 9 o'clock. Okay, 6 o'clock today's time.
It's like 8 episodes, right?
Are they
Yeah.
dropping the whole thing?
Yeah, I think all the episodes, 8 episodes, are coming out.
I don't know, man. I feel like this season of Stranger Things was a misfire. I feel like they got close to the bullseye within the first 4 episodes they dropped, because you're like, oh shit, the build up, shit's hitting the fan. And then the 3 episodes in the middle for volume 2, you were like, okay, this has nothing to do with anything. Like they were trying to touch on Henry's memory, but I don't feel like they did it in a way that made it memorable. So I don't know, man. I feel like we were robbed